I'm live too.
God, hey, well, Shalom, Shalom. We are the brothers of the Great Millstone, the branch here in Chicago. And first and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekapadah.
double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops, and salutations to the 144,000 that are scattered around the four corners of the earth with the rest of the elect among the heathen that look like the heathen. All right? And we're just going to go right into this lesson, open forum, and we're going to start with, the color of the Lord, because people are still having, mainly the Edomites, and even some of our own people. And, that's an issue that never gets old and never seems to go away. All right? And, how Esau then created all these different versions of the Bible and removed, because when you go, because somebody pull up Jeremiah 14:2 in the blue letter, and because when you go to the source of it, the blue letter would be the source going to the Hebrew. It clearly says, Kedar. All right. And Kedar literally means dark skinned. All right. But then you got, because I have one of those JPS, Jewish Publication Bible of the Torah, was that has the Assyrian script, which the kingdom of Judah never used, by the way. All right. The kingdom of Judah used the Phoenician style Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew. They never used the Assyrian script. They were not in the Assyrian captivity. So the fact that they chose to use that is evidence of them trying to hide the truth. All right? They came with some aftermarket form of Hebrew and tried to implant themselves. All right? That's literally what they did. Some aftermarket Hebrew, and they're still using it to this day, and they're hiding behind it. But the world is, but now you're not ignorant to it anymore because you got the men of the Lord, telling you. But in that JPS Bible, it has, it has like the Jewish publication, Assyrian script on one side, and then it has, the English translation. And when you read the English translation in the JPS, I wish I had it here. It removed the word black. Their skin is black. It completely removed it. But in the same book, right next to it, because every in the blue letter breakdown, right next to it, or you go into the Assyrian script and you go get to the word, Kedar still means dark skin. Right. So in English, they removed it, but in the actual language, it's still there. So these people, Job 13:4, man, they're just liars, man. Yeah. All right.
I got the revelation.
Go ahead.
This Revelation 1:1. This is the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach, which Yahweh gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must surely come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Jumping down to verse 11.
Yeah, revelation means to reveal. It's going to revealing who the world ignorant called Jesus Christ really look like, which is the real name is Yahweh Shai.
Okay. So jumping down to verse 12, it says,
why would the Lord need to reveal himself in the Bible?
Right.
He's revealing himself in the last book of the Bible. Actually, he's revealed all through it, but like the elder said, the book of Revelation means to reveal. Why is it a need for him to reveal himself? Because he's been lied about.
They crucified.
Right, they crucified. Yep.
The X out.
Yep. It says, verse 12, it says, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst
Not 9.
Right.
Right? Because, the Jewish converts from the time of Hyrcanus, from John Hyrcanus, which is the reason why they can say, well, our DNA goes back to Jerusalem. Well, yeah, because, you were forced converted. Edomites were forced converted to Judaism, or what they call Judaism today, during the time of John Hyrcanus. So you had Judeans and you had Jewish. They were not the same people. The Jewish were Edomites. So let's make that very, very clear to any of you who are watching. All right, during the time of the Maccabees, John Hyrcanus, which was a Levite priest, an actual Levite priest, when they were at war with a portion of the Edomites, and when they defeated them, because the Romans were Edomites too. All right, these Edomites were forced to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And then over time they brought in the Greekish fashion of wearing a hat. That's why they cover up their crown. When the Israelites' crown is supposed to be exposed. The crown, because when you're being born, when they see the top of your head, what do they call it? Your crown. All right, a king's crown goes here. It don't go on the sides. When you shave off the top of your head and cover it up with a hat, and then let your hair grow, let your sideburns grow down to your chin. That's some retarded shit. Man, right? That's just a handle to hang on to and get beat up. All right, unmanly. What's a lock it, brother?
It says, in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So he had on a garment similar to the one that I'm wearing now. All right, and it had a border of blue and fringes at the bottom. All right,
and his head and his hair were white like wool.
Which is why we don't wear t-shirts all the same color. All right, because when any Israelite group is wearing all the same color, all right, and using loud horns, that's evidence of a 501c3 contract. All right, any group of people who will call themselves Israelites, and they're going out with a bullhorn and they're all dressed alike, that's the sign of a 501c3 contract sellout camp. All right, point blank period. All right.
And his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were a flame of fire, and his feet unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace.
So that's like a penny. You've ever seen an old penny, right? And then if you took that penny and threw it in a hot stove, when something gets burned on the grill, the grill gets all soot, it gets very dark. Go ahead.
Says, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace.
Right, and last I checked, people's feet typically, unless they have leprosy, is the same color as their face.
Right.
The arms and their hands. And then there's a scripture that even says that his arms and hands were like in color to brass. The same thing. All right? Go ahead, brother.
It says, and his voice is the sound of many waters.
So that very powerful, carrying, deep voice, kind of like that Jake who wrote the Underworld series.
Right. Not some nasally bitch ass voice like Esau.
Con. Some call me back, Allison.
Right.
Dirty ass. Right.
I had some Elder Ryan left the scripture on live chat, Revelation 11:8. It says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which the great city is Babylon, aka America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified," meaning the exile. Got images looking like this red dog, and have everybody believing that's who the Lord looked like.
I got the precept out of Malcolm Cody. It's Daniel 10:6. His body also was like the bearer. You can get him a time. His body was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and feet in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. Same description. He's a dark-skinned man with a deep voice. All right, Barry White type was Jake got them deep voices. Not every Jake, but Jake can have a deep voice. Ronald, where's your iPhone charger at?
I got something.
You got. Let me see your portion.
You finished?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, this is Hebrews chapter 7 and 14. It says, "For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of the tribe of Judah, which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood." But the point is that it is evident that our Lord sprang out of the tribe of Judah. Well, here in Songs of Solomon, all right, Solomon also sprang out of the tribe of Judah.
That's right.
And Solomon said this, he said, Solomon chapter 1, verse 5. It says, "I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon." And this black right here is because it says, "I am black, but comely," right? So you go into this word black, which comes from the Hebrew H7838, which is the root word of that is H7835, which is shakar, which means to be black of skin.
Damn.
All right, it says to be black of skin. Okay, and so that's why it says as the curtains. All right, as the what do you say? As the tents, or I am, black like this, or I'm black like that. You know what I'm saying? And then it says as of skin. And so here it is, Solomon, who sprang out of the tribe of Judah, all right, saying that he's of dark, you know what I'm saying, complexion. So our Lord and Savior also sprang out of the tribe of Judah, who could be dark in complexion, anywhere from a very dark brown to a light brown, like myself.
Yeah,
It's Tawny.
God.
And if we went back to the 1500s, you and I will be called Tawny.
Right.
All right, which meant light brown.
Mhm.
All right, we will be called Tawny.
Yeah.
As
Not
opposed to,
It's as opposed to someone who was called Swarthy.
exactly.
right.
But they were considered in the same family.
Exactly.
All right, when you look at the color scheme of people, I actually have a chart that got the color line of people, and they got Tawny from Tawny to Swarthy, and it had basically all the nations of the world were mixed in there.
So,
And then the only people that were sitting out there in the pale and the red was Esau,
so you
Right.
and I will be called
who will
Tawny.
be called Tawny.
Yahweh Shai will be called Swarthy.
He will be called Swarthy. So Pops, you gotta call him Tawny. He ain't yell ass.
Right.
Because basically all this aftermarket bullshit that Esau's doing is all to discredit from what we really are and what people really are.
Pops will be called Swarthy.
He will be called Swarthy.
Christmas.
I read a book. I got a book at home. I got a book at home that refers to the Scots in Scotland as the swarthy hordes of the Scots. And it talked about how King James came out of those swarthy hordes.
Yeah.
All right. And then what's his name? Benjamin Franklin. Ben Franklin solidifies it in that letter that he wrote. The observation of the something of mankind.
Oh yeah.
And he said in there that the majority of the world was Tawny and Swarthy. And then he basically said that the Germans, the Scots, the Irish, the Spaniards, the Italians were Swarthy, were wholly sold. That's what Ben Franklin wrote in 1751. So just because you Edomites and you dumbass niggers, all right, you dance, dumb ass niggas, you try to Dan ass niggas, not actual dance, but dumb ass niggas, you don't want to, especially you Danite Christians, you dumb ass nigger Christians. That's exactly what I'm gonna call you, because that's exactly what you are. And you're intimidated by the truth and the blind ass 501c3 sellout pastors who are all gonna get put to death according to the scriptures for teaching all those lies. And then they try to, when people wake up to the fact of who we are, they try to make it a cult or, come up with all this madness instead of embracing. There has to be a mass awakening. If the message of Christianity was for the whole world, where's the awakening at then?
God.
Who needs to wake up if the Lord loves everybody?
Right.
You see, it makes absolutely no sense. Zero, none whatsoever, man.
You be accepted no matter how wicked you
You're
are.
right. And so where's the big awakening?
Right.
You know, how do you take the whole world and make it match or mingle among Ezekiel the 37th chapter? You know the answer to that, y'all?
Say that again.
Exactly. How do you take the whole world and apply Ezekiel the 37th chapter to them?
Yep.
All right?
Doesn't make sense.
And none whatsoever.
No.
Right? The whole world didn't get scattered.
Right.
All right? There are people still in their lands where they were during the time of the Lord. The Cushites still know they're Cush. Right? The Indians know that they're Elam. The Arabs know that they're Ishmael.
They see it too.
All right?
Yeah, even the Iranians, they know they go back.
They
to
know that they're Elam.
They know they go back to Persia, which goes back to Elam. They know that. These Hamites know that they Hamites. Ishmael know that they Ishmael. Esau know that Esau.
Yeah, God.
All right, and I got this image. I put in the info. I put in the regular afternoon. I posted the image. I'm gonna short on this. And it's from the 1834 Thesaurus. I'm putting it on camera for you. So, actually, it's
That's right there.
No, it's an octagon. Octagon.
That's great.
Yep, the 1834 Thesaurus. All right, and in this Thesaurus, you see Negro.
Wow.
All right, you see Negro. It says what?
The image
Colored
of God.
Black,
That's
Blackamoor, Jim Crow, Darky. Then it says the image of God.
that's good.
And under that, you see Swarthy.
Wow, you need to
1834.
send that to me.
That's good.
Barbecue shot, yeah, that goes harder than the Winston Simplified Dictionary, 1929, 1931.
Oh well, yeah. Yeah, going back to 1834. See,
You know?
That's how they want Jake to read.
So,
Right.
so they're very aware of this. Sambo, Ebony, wow, Jim Crow, slang, U.S. And remember, and then it says Darky. Darky also goes back to Dusky.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to remember one of that's Swarthy. They replaced Swarthy with Dusky. All right, and then they replaced Dusky with Black.
Well, they try to
When they
make
started saying Black, because that's why you still hear niggas say your dusty ass today. They were trying to say Dusky. All right, they didn't even know where that came from. Right, because that's what the so-called white man was completely trying to hide who we were. And Africans, all right, were never called Negroes. Never. It never said Africans for sale. It always said Negroes because Africans, for the most part, were the ones that were selling the Negroes. Two different races of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and you see Swarthy in there too.
Yep.
because Negro would just really replace the Hebo or Hebo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then those images that they used with to say the selling of Negroes, those weren't even Negroes. Those were people who were native to the Americas.
Yeah.
And then they just blackened them out, you know, and so those were native guides. So that's another reason how you know that was a time when you couldn't tell a Negro from a Native American. All right? Because they both were swarthy and tawny. And the only difference was in them was that the natives, in some cases, had a different texture of hair, and that was because they were in the Assyrian captivity, when the so-called Negroes were over there mixing and mingling with them Hamites. It's as simple as that. All right, but Israel has always been a mixed and mingled people with different textures of hair. Always have been. All right, you got to remember the Israelites. They came. The 12 tribes, or you know, the 12 patriarchs came out of 4 different women, man. All right, women that were from the east, mainly from West Asia, what they fraudulently and falsely call the Middle East. All right, there's no such thing in the Middle East. They made that up. All right, from Turkey. Can we get a map? Can you put up a map?
Well, I say one thing. If you look at the old,
You want the old world?
Let's put up a map
look at the
of
old murals.
what they refer to as the Middle East of Asia.
If you look at the old murals, a lot of people had different features, different hair texture. They were just still
Yeah.
dark. They were just dark.
As a matter of fact, is one Jake. You see one of those sheep herders that I always see that make me think of Rapaya. All right, so that whole region right there, where you see Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Jeddah, all the way up to Jordan, Israel, Lebanon, Syria, and Turkey. All right, that whole region is West Asia.
Yep.
All right, Tehran, Iran, from Georgia, Istanbul,
Right.
Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. That is Western Asia.
My grandpa said,
All right.
Africa's good.
The borderline between Western Asia and Africa. All right. There is no such thing as a Middle East. And what they did was they made up that term in the 1800s, and then they tried to make Middle East an actual nationality and say, oh, well, they were Middle Eastern. No, they're Western Asia. They all from all the way across to Pakistan India, Bangladesh, all the way up to the Bering Strait in Russia.
Right.
That was all Asia.
That's right.
Point blank, period. Always has been. All right? That body of water is not separating. The Persian Gulf doesn't separate, they're still in one landmass.
It's a lot.
You lying pieces of shit. Because I actually, brother, I actually have a map of Asia. And guess what? Everything that I just named, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, is all included in Asia. It was never called the Middle East. They made that shit up in the 1800s.
When I was a teenager, my paternal grandfather told me that Africa was called also West Asia. It wasn't called Africa. It was known also in Asia too.
Well, that's not true though. That's not on the maps anyway.
Right.
Africa was always, Africa. I mean, whatever it was called before, the land of Ham, All right. But one thing's for sure though is that the sons of Ham stretched all the way up to where Turkey was. They went all the way up into to where with Lebanon, and they were all up in there, man. Them Hamites.
Yeah, even Israel, that was called the land of Canaan.
Yeah, so Canaan, right? And even though Canaan was in West Asia, they were still provinces of Africans. So maybe that's what he meant.
Okay.
You still had the sons of Africa were all in there. Okay, they were all up in that area, man, until Ishmael took it over. Because Egypt now is full of Ishmaelites for the most part.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you got, you still got some Hamites, you got a lot of Edomites in there, but the people who control Egypt today is Ishmael, and they're not they're not the Philistines and the real Palestinians.
Right.
Right. The real Palestinians were Africans, the sons of Ham.
Well, that's the spirit because of
Right.
Palestinian tried to come by camp yesterday, tried to tell me he's a Philistine. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, you ain't no Philistine.
No, he's not a Philistine at all. See, that's a lie. Matter of fact, get the definition of Ham. Baba Kashad, don't we have a Zondervan Dictionary Bible around
Sure,
here?
man.
Should have one over
I
It's
got it
over
in my
there.
head. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. The bottom.
Yeah.
The bottom.
Yeah.
Right here.
come.
Yeah, that's it. Although I actually have the
Yeah,
definition. in
I
my
can
head.
say it by heart too. I just wanted to put it in the camera.
But the rap, this book of yeah.
I think we all know that definition at this point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's seared in our mind. Repetition, my brother.
Ham, the youngest son. No,
Is that at least? All right.
Matter of fact, if you put in ASA1, the map that I'm talking about might pop up, and it's going to show you exactly. It's going to show you because it's a teacher's map that I actually have. It's a learning tool, and it was just through the Lord that I stumbled upon it, and I ordered it. I ordered it off of Amazon, and they sent that shit right to me, and I often use it.
He found it.
Count,
Go
this
ahead,
is-
read it, brother. It's ASA1. That might pull it up.
This is Ham.
No, you put S. ASA.
So
Details, brother. Details.
ASA.
ASA1. And then and then give a space and put in map of Asia, and it might pop up.
You still in the Google Maps.
Yeah, that's the wrong spot. You gotta
Yeah,
click the
wrong
search
spot.
button.
You know, Jake
Let's
goes,
start a new one. Start a new one.
Yeah, right there.
But go ahead and read it, brother, while he's doing that.
Count, this is Ham in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, right? Compact says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He began the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. See Genesis 10, 6-20. This says his indecency when his father was laid drunken brought a curse upon Canaan. Descendants of the original Hamites. Good.
Time. Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. Time.
There it is. I just found it, brother.
Is it that one?
It's called here. See, I went and found it on Google again. I mean, see this one? Asia map. Painless Learning Asia map. Put that in, see if it pops up.
Well, the back of that zombie bike, they try to use that,
Matter of fact, that's it, right? No, that's
Oh,
not
okay.
it. That's not it.
It kind of look like
They kind of look like that, right?
Painkiller. That's
Well, just
Painless
where y'all get that. They try to use that
map of Asia.
zombie
Painless
bike.
Learning map of Asia. Slocky.
No, it's all good. They try to use that zombie Bible dictionary term to try to coat up the fact that Egyptian was dark skinned, but it backfired on.
It backfired on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was actually they were trying to support the Hamite theory, and it backfired on them. That's what they were trying to do.
Mhm.
They were trying to say that they were dark, but they weren't Negroes, and they backfired. That's it. So that one on the far corner, on the far left, right. Everything colored is Asian.
You see that painkiller, that Netflix painkiller?
Check it out. You see that? There you go.
Damn.
It's showing. So it's showing you Asia. Go further to the left, brother.
You said which? Okay.
This whole map. This is the map of Asia. Guess what's in there? You see that?
Go down.
No, he got it. That's it. So they cut. This is a school, right? When I ordered it, I got this sitting on my. I've probably done about 2 or 3 videos using it already. But yeah, there it is, man. So all of that, do you see that in the land of Israel? It's west. That's Asia. All right. You got Western Asia and Asia, and they called it. Matter of fact, they even called it Asia Minor. All right. And then they decided in the 1800s, and what you have to understand is that if you just stop moving it, brother, just put it, center it, bring it back down some. All right. If you went, bring it down a little bit more. Okay, so stop right about there. If you were to go,
Papa, move that vacuum out there.
if you were to go, all right, to upward into on a northeasterly plane, you would run into Britain. You have something called the East India Shipping Company, all right, and it was ran out of Britain, and then that's where they colonized India, and so halfway between India and Britain was like the land of Israel and Jordan. That's why it was called the Middle East, because you were going eastward, and it was midway between Britain and India. So that's where they came up with that term, and then they started using that term and then they started using that term. And it was a direction, and they tried to pass it off as being a nationality of people. That's where that term comes from. If you're looking at India, and you were to start going easterly, north and easterly, you would end up in Europe, and you would end up in Britain. All right. So that was the midway between. All right, because if you went by land, all right, and there you go. So that's where they came up with that bullshit. But so what you're looking at is a map of Asia and Israel. That's why you got some of these Kemet people or these Moors call themselves Black Asiatic men, because they knew that Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iraq, Jordan, Israel, Turkey, Iran all sits in Asia. That's where they one of the brothers, one of the guys that came up with, he named his daughter Myasia.
Wow.
And just sent her off to college. Oh my God.
That's why somebody.
Right, she's gorgeous too. And I'm like, damn man, why you just fucked up, bro?
That's why
Same thing I told my brother.
You just sent her off to Slut Academy.
That's what bodybuilders like from Arabia when they get to the bodybuilder competition, they in the Asian league.
Yeah,
They
so
don't say Middle East, they say Asian.
exactly. There it is, Mike Oliver. That's it. So so all of this is just to lie, to hide the truth. All right. So they came up with this Middle East shit, and that's a complete and total lie. They'll say that well, he's Middle Eastern, he's olive colored. Motherfucker, so he's green like the map of Saudi Arabia? Because olives are green. There's no skin complexion like that.
Yeah.
You got olives that are green, you got olives that are black, almost like purple. So if you say he's olive complected, well, all the people in that area, guess what? They were just as dark as the Africans.
But it's funny because it did come up with a color, and it's just brown. But they do have an olive tone that is brown, and they try to say
that's some shit. They making olive brown. I mean, they making olive. You can't make green brown.
Exactly.
Right.
All right. So because an actual olive is either the dark olive or it's the green olive. So that's just them playing with words and playing with shit.
then they try to make Swarty like a real light skinned person.
How you gonna? So they gonna take Swarthy and make it complete opposite of what they meant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trying to do that.
Unfucking believable.
Oh, now they trying to do melanated. Oh, we got a look with so-called white person. Oh, we got a little bit melanated, so we're melanated.
So these are all revised
Mhm.
lies. Just like when you see a book that's been it's the fifth edition revised, the sixth edition revised. Revised means that they're trying to cover up and hide shit and they're changing shit because you know.
All books do that shit all the
And
time.
that map was like $14 on Amazon. I highly suggest. Well, they've said that one you can find it for cheaper than that. That was $24.
Because melanated.
Brothers, y'all need to have that. As a matter of fact, so much I want to start putting it in my bag,
Yeah.
because it's small and in plastic. It'll fit right in your bag and pop this shit out on the street and cut the shit out. These lying ass pieces of shit. Go
I
ahead.
got
Bro.
scripture. I got two scriptures real quick. This is going to be Job 24 and 2. Some remove the landmarks. They violently take away flocks and feed thereof. And then I've got another one here that's Deuteronomy 27 and 17. It says, "Cursed is he that removeth his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say, Amen."
Right. So when Alexander went on his conquering campaign, all right, all Asia is named after his brother. After Edomite Roman citizen general named Scipio Asiaticus, and then Africa, which is east of Asia, all right, is named after Scipio Africanus, all right. And so both of them are named for the namesake of the so-called white man. They removed landmarks and they changed names. All right. So that's what they did. And then through rape, robbery, and murder, they lightened everyone up in those areas. All those people got lightened up. The Chinese, their images of them just going back a couple hundred years, they were very, very dark.
Yep.
All right. But over the years, they've been lightened up by the influx of Edomites. And Edom is small. But yet, look at Romania, Bulgaria, Ukraine. That's where the Edomites were. All right, up there. And they got forced up there to the Caucasus. Matter of fact, you see the Caucasus Mountains just above Asia. That's where they got chased into. And they went those Caucasus Mountains being all quest for fire and shit. During the Dark Ages.
Even
All right?
caveman can do it.
They were up in the Caucasus Mountains. You're looking at it right above, to the east of Georgia, above Armenia. All right, that's where they were. They got chased into there. Job, the 30th chapter. Somebody can grab it. All right, and they got pushed up into there. And then around the mid, and then that's why the Khazars and stuff. They started coming out and conquering and ruling and taking over Hungary, Romania, all those areas. All right. And then the Khazars converted to Judaism and started following the same thing that their ancestors followed, before the fall of Rome. All right. And that's basically what happened. And then in the mid 1300s, they began to come back into power. All right. Because in all those areas, they came fully back into power. They started coming back into power, and they took over Romania, and Ukraine, and and Hungary, and all those places. Because all the royal families that were living in those areas, and even further east, and east northeast further into Europe, those were all Negroes, and the Edomites took that all over. All right, that's actual history. That's why you got images of black Madonnas all over Romania, Slovenia, in all those areas. And Jake left so many all throughout Italy. Jake left so many relics they couldn't even destroy and hide them all. All right.
This is Job 30:1. But now they that are younger than I, have me in derision. Younger meaning less significant, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Because Esau will hump your dogs. His women will hump your dogs.
Yeah. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste.
Right. That's why you got those tapestries, those 15th century tapestry of Jake defending castles in Germany, black people, kings, all right, defending the castles against marauding, stick-wielding cavemen, the wildmen. And what Esau tries to do is he tries to mix that wildling history with Viking history and say those were the Vikings. No. The Vikings were the same people as the people in the Iberian Peninsula, Spain, Britain, Ireland. Those swarthy Scots. Okay, well, go ahead.
Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat.
Mm-hmm. So that's your quest for fire. All right, you Google Quest for Fire. Watch the movie. All right, and they try to say that was 10,000+ years ago. No, that's that shameful spewing on your glory. Then you're embarrassed that was when you went upon your belly. That curse fell upon you. Your belly you went. Right.
Daniel chapter 7, they changed the time and season.
God.
When they make up a lie talking about, this was 500,000 years ago, which is BS.
Earth ain't even that old.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
There's nowhere documented history where the Earth go back that far. They just throw fucking stupid ass numbers out there.
Well, all that's to hide.
To hide.
And hide behind their lies and their pseudoscience. That to fit the narratives of them false white superiority doctrines that they devised to hide this evidence and the truth of what we're bringing out right now. All right, and evolution and all that bullshit, because they elevated over everyone. So how you gonna elevate over one, but you're the only people that have to wear sunblock and wear them big ass hats to block the sun off your skin.
And then another thing,
I go in the sun, I get darker. You go in the sun,
You burn.
and you burn.
right, and then another thing, they said we come from apes and gorillas and shit, but we never retain the strength of the gorilla and shit. No babies that were born
Which is
with-
retarded.
Which is retarded.
There's an image out there right now that's showing you how the average white person has a mouth that looks just like the apes. Negroes got, and the rest of the tribes and the other people all got thick lips. Arabs got thick lips. African women got thick lips. Negroes got thick lips. Indian women got thick lips. All right. The Fiji women, Hawaiian women, the Negro women, the so-called Hispanic women, the Native women, they all got thick, full lips. Esau the only one with them.
Thin lips.
With their round ape looking, exactly. So they're the one. No, there's a meme of it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's right on point.
Like Fauci. He
You
like
know?
a goddamn monkey.
They all look like they're about to say, bring out the scroll of the, the Beastman scroll.
I remember when I was a kid, like 5, this Edomite, she ended up getting sunburned. So she was burning up, and I just kept fucking with her, touching her on purpose, just having fun.
You were little because you didn't understand. You trying to figure out why me touching you when you in so much pain.
Yeah, she was
I
screaming.
didn't hit you or nothing. I just stop that.
And she just keep balled up like this, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell going on.
You were just a kid. Right? Like, what's wrong with you, man? Fucking vampire.
Job 30:5. They go. They said they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief.
Right, so Jake chased them being merciful. Jake could have just annihilated Esau, but that wasn't the prophecy. Jake didn't have the same spirit that Esau had. Jake actually has a very merciful spirit, man. Compassionate, right? After they beat you down, they leave you alone. Esau, no. Esau gotta,
Go your way.
Yeah, like I said, prophecy. Yeah, this devil had to stick around for prophecy's sake.
Right, prophecy had to, but they got chased into the mountains by Jake. That's how they became Caucasians. And Caucasian literally means cave dweller. They were the troglodytes. They're the only race of people. There's no other people in all this map. And that's the old world. All right, when you look at the whole thing, that's Asia, Europe, and Africa. That's the old world, and there's no history of any group of humanity that lived in any of those places that ever lived in the caves, except for Esau Edom, because before he was in the Caucasus Mountains, he was in the mountains of Mount Seir. All right. So his dusty ass was always up in the cave, being a vampire, all in the damp, cold cave, not hiding from the sun. All right.
And I ain't want to block it.
Always trying to intermingle and marry with all these dark women around him, trying to get some color back into him.
Hey, and
Right.
what's crazy, even now when you even look up some of those words like Caucasian, you remember how we used to look it up? We used to say cave dweller from the
They
Caucasus.
changed it.
Mountains.
They revised it.
They changed it.
Revisions,
You can't even look it up.
It's called revisions, and a lot of the stuff that we used to look up and bring out, you know,
Marriage of one.
they removed and scrubbed a lot of stuff from the internet.
Yeah.
What was that stuff we used to look, Bacchus and all that Christmas stuff?
God.
They used to show you all the damn basically child pornography and shit and all those Christmas celebrations. All that stuff has been removed. We can't look that stuff up anymore. You can barely see. And when they do give it to you, they give you such a small image, you can't really expand it to really see it, you know?
Right.
But we use, because once again, they were proud of all their history in the past. And now the fact that the Hebrew Israelites are on the scene, the shameful spirit is upon their glory. They're ashamed of their history. All right? Well, you got people like DeSantis that want to, well, it's blackness indoctrination to our white children. They're ashamed of being white, and we don't want that taught in our school. So how is teaching our people real history hurtful to you? Oh, because you did this shit.
Yep.
Right.
Now that means that actually legitifies what we're saying, that you got ill-gotten gains. All right? That you're in power because you raped, robbed, and murdered. Because the only thing they were really great at is rape, robbery, and murder. Death.
Steal,
Identity
kill,
theft.
destroy.
All right? And usury. All right? They'll create a fraud and then charge you interest on the fraud. That's what Title 4D is.
They just took some
All right.
money from me.
They'll create something that's fraudulent, force you into payments fraudulently, and then you can't pay it, add interest to the fraud.
Right.
Frank Shinobanki. This is the word Caucasian in the freedictionary.com. Says of relating to a racial group having light-colored skin, white. It says of being a human racial classification distinguished especially by very light to brown skin and straight to wavy.
So light to brown skin. Wow.
And including peoples indigenous to Europe, Northern Africa.
Because according to the white people, so that's them trying to hide and come up shit. Because that's right there is interfering with their white superiority doctrines. All right, because according to them, if you white, you got a drop of dark blood, you're not white no more.
God, no.
Which is bullshit, because it goes to show you the fraudulence in their Job 13:4, please. It goes to show you the fraudulence that's put into their blood conscience when it comes to the so-called Native Americans.
Now,
How they kept the Negroes from being natives, even though a lot of the Negroes were natives. But if a white person had native blood from their mother, this blood quadrant shit, they allowed to participate in loans and land and payments for casinos, et cetera. But if a so-called black person is the same thing, they can't get their native or their Gadite status. They can't get their ID card to say that they're American Native Indian. All right, but if you're white, you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a complete, it's like, wait a minute. All right, so I thought if you had one drop of Negro blood, you're not white no more. But right here, you're trying to say that you're brown.
Right.
All right, or you will make certain people that come from West Asia, melanated people that come from West Asia, even from North Africa, and you'll say that you make them come to America and say that they're Caucasian. So is that what he's trying? So you're trying to, you see what I'm saying? Esau's just full of shit. So how they gonna be, a Hamite or Arab from Cairo, but you white? But in America, if you got one drop of black blood, the Negro blood, you're not white no more. Which is it? You lying pieces of shit?
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
There it is.
I got one. It's
Bring it
Psalm
out,
58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They're like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. And that's that Revelation 12. It calls the Romans what? The devil, the old serpent.
Yeah.
All right? Right here, this is the serpent that was in the garden, Esau Edom. All right, the self-proclaimed white man who's really red. He's the devil the Bible speaks of. He got out his prison that the brother just read in Job 30. All right, he's been loose for a little season to deceive the world again.
Yep.
All right.
Hey,
Second Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. He went forth to deceive the nations.
that's
That
it.
man has been revealed, the son of perdition.
That's
Who
it.
is that?
Exactly.
That's Edom.
Exactly.
Who will be the last to rule? Mystery Babylon in Revelation is referred to as Edom. All right, in Psalms 137, 2nd Ezra 6, Lamentations 4. The last ruler over the Israelites will be Mystery Babylon, which it tells you plainly are the Edomites.
Exactly.
Man of sin, Saul, the mystery Saul.
And it says in that wisdom of Solomon how their mindset, the wicked, the ungodly's mindset, it says, let our strength be the law of justice.
Right.
So whatever they just make up,
Where we
you know,
say, boy.
and yeah. And even if you wind up, you know, kind of thriving or flourishing through the madness of the system that they didn't set up, like you say, Elder, they'll just change the goalposts.
That's what we're doing now.
Right.
That nigga Chauncey,
Right.
I don't give a fuck what I say.
That's
Niggas
what they
don't come around
doing.
here.
That's what they doing with me in court right now, brother.
Right.
You know, they keep changing the goalposts.
That's right. They don't care what they
They
say.
say, well, yeah, you got us, but you know what? The rules changed yesterday.
Yeah. Or just not.
You got us, but guess what?
Yeah.
They do it all the time. What they science falsely called, they did with evolution. They got caught, well, this wouldn't exist because how evolution works. They come with a whole new theory behind it. Well, it's not they come with rapid evolution now. And you just prove that they always come with a new theory to it, man.
Yeah.
No,
Fucking
There's
devil.
always some bone-faced, smooth-faced Edomite, you know, like Fauci, sitting up there with a wicked-ass smile on his face, telling some lies. Go ahead, brother.
So this Nahum 3:1, woe, which is destruction to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not.
God, the prey departed not. All right, so we're gonna get on this whole Epstein Island thing and JP Morgan. All right.
You said they robbery, right?
Mm-hmm.
They steal a man's identity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Change it up the
It
whole
says
deal.
a man in his house, even a man in his heritage.
God damn, can it be you?
Exactly.
Right. Can't nobody be whoever they are, man.
Right.
You know, he the Greeks, he the Hawaiians, he everybody.
The last
You know,
samurai.
yeah. He made a movie. Look, the old movie Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
You know, he was even Ishmael.
Damn.
All right, but we gonna get on this Epstein Island thing, all right? And these wicked ways, these ways of usury, all right? Because let's see if we can even find that. Somebody look up that case.
Oh yeah, I found it. Ariel, just type U.S. Virgin. Type in J.P. Morgan sued by Virgin Islands.
Right, to get that, and also open another tab and look up the cocaine shipments on the J.P. Morgan ship.
Now, that one,
And let's see if that story, because that story just got swept under the rug. Somewhere there's a rug with a big ass lump under it. People keep tripping and falling, man.
Right. And it's getting smaller by the minute.
Right.
That's Joe Biden's son.
Oh, damn.
Hit that shit, boy. Motherfucker found the whole jab of coke in the White House. Where there's cameras everywhere, and nobody knows who left it right there.
Exactly. I even got white folks sending me memes talking about, meanwhile, the Coke House, I mean the White House.
Yeah, this is why they call it white.
That's what I'm saying about it.
That makes sense.
Oh, what?
She's that white girl. There's an old head. Yeah, you can find an article. Type in Chase Cocaine Show.
I put in the orders.
Chase cocaine shit.
Yeah, it pop right up.
So that means they got some shady
1.3
sub machine gun, drug dealing dudes who's dealing with JP Morgan, man. Sitting down at the table. So it makes me wonder, did Jamie Dimon sit in on these meetings, or did he send somebody to represent him?
20
The dark side of our banks. They send that person. Somebody got that job. They go deal with these, with these entities. Whoever these people are, how they send a guy to, like the mobster, the drug dealer, the damn terrorist, got to have somebody to represent them on on their business side to make it look like to clean their money up and all that other shit. What this is telling you is that what I just said is actually going on.
They showed you that in Scarface.
All right.
He used to bring his money in, and the banks used to clean it up for him.
Hey,
Yeah. What movie was Sean Penn his lawyer?
Oh, that's Carlito's Way.
Yeah, Carlito's Way, right?
He was smart.
Same thing, right? Sean Penn was playing Amalekite,
Yeah, he was Amalekite.
right?
right.
He played the Amalekite, right? And so he was the guy that was there to clean up the drug money.
Right. Same thing in Deep Cover. You had Amalekite, Lawrence Fishburne. And you had, what's
Jeff
that?
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, nigga though.
Yeah, he is.
That dude, Jake.
He is straight up, Jake. The fly.
You know, I mean, you had that in real life. You had the Iran Contra scandal and whatnot.
So that means there was a lot of businessmen involved in that. It had to be, right. There was a lot of dudes, and I've been saying it for years. The most dangerous individuals on the earth are men in $1,000 suits, with in Italian-made suits, with
Slick hair, bald face.
with slick back hair and a bald face. They American Psycho all day long with a pen.
And they use a Jake face to be the face of that shit.
It's like BLM and Antifa and all that other bullshit. Those are straight up white organizations with brown faces, so that when shit go upside down, it makes it look like Jake did it. Just like all those complete organized hits on the West Coast of all these Negroes going in these stores and cleaning them out. Those are all crisis actors, man.
Yeah.
And then Esau there with the camera. Meanwhile, all on TikTok and YouTube, Edomites are having nigga moments. White girls fighting in damn porta potties and shit.
Right.
Yeah. The Chicago mayor low-key said it. With the big break-in, it was a bunch of niggas at 7-Eleven and shit.
Yeah.
So what's happening is, for one, these people are arriving randomly. These are teenagers. They're arriving randomly, and then somebody else gets the shit going, and all the blame gets put on these jakes. The mayor said, look, we're not going to say this is not mob action. He said it's not mob action. They was down there, and essentially, you can
somebody set it up.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And so many words you can pick up well, clearly then, these niggas ain't playing. Let's go downtown and do this, X, Y, Z. And get kicked off, and then them niggas go ahead and just start.
You got what do they call them? Agent provocateurs. Just like in those riots in England in 2011. And I'll never forget, how the one guy, they put the camera on him. He was wearing all black, but he had on white tennis shoes. And he grabbed the garbage can and threw it. He grabbed a brick and broke the window. And he was riled there and started hitting the cars. And when the people started getting riled up, and they started getting riled up, then the police started fighting with the people. The police opened up, and that very dude with the hoodie on, he backed right up into the police line. They closed up behind him on the other side of the line. So he was a cop, agent provocateur. Right?
Just like during
he got that shit, and they got caught on camera.
The 2020 shit. They called up the police and the pickup truck with the bricks.
Yeah.
They set the bricks right outside the stand. Motherfuckers can have
exactly. Then the white people all look at these niggers, there it is.
And it's a lot of footage like that on Russell Hip Hop. You had the Edomites. Now I believe it came out playing. They was funded by George Soros.
Yeah.
They was on the back of the U-Haul giving out equipment to niggas to get the shit going.
There you go. And then you had Edomites that actually lived when all that was happening downtown. You had Edomites that lived up and down Michigan Avenue and lived in what they call that little area. Not the Gold Coast, but the place Streeterville. You had all the Streeterville people were out there with their cameras showing you this is shit as white people were doing this shit. They're blaming it on black people. You have white people filming this shit. Right. Saying these are white people doing all this spray painting and breaking these windows, and they're blaming it on black people.
Yeah.
So you had a whole bunch of videos that emerged of that, man.
Like the AutoZone when the niggas out there.
Oh yeah.
They stopped that. He's like, yeah, they doing this. He stopped. Like, man, we have a piece. We have a piece of protest. You get this shit going.
He said, ain't there such?
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
This Revelation 12 and Revelation 12 and 10. I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of my power, and the power of his anointing. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. So Esau, even his whole job has been to make us the offspring of the earth. All right, to make us a byword, to make us we can be looked at by the world as just a statistic of people that just do all this bullshit, man. That's his job, man.
Yeah.
We can be hated, just
Yeah.
like in in Judith, I believe. All right, they said, look, the reason why your kingdom is messed up is because you find it. Yeah, and they have it more than once. The reason your kingdom is messed up is because this people, they don't regard no law. They don't regard nothing. It's the Israelites' fault. Yes, that's as well. Yeah.
I think it mean what is it? Categoreo means to put in a category. So he put you Jake's all in the same category. But when it come out of him, they all ain't like that though.
Yeah.
He doing what's
And that's something.
Yeah.
He projecting. It's funny because when you watch movies like New Jack City, what was dude? What was they saying? And my brother's keeper. What was the other movie? Dude was called Kane. All right. A lot of these movies that he coming out with, the villain is what? A nigga. You know what I'm saying? And a nigga in purple too. You know what I'm saying? It's a nigga. You had Kane the Conqueror. Then you had the nigga, the High Evolutionary. You got a lot of movies like that where they put the nigga as the mastermind, but he really projecting who the fuck he is.
I got you. It's St. John 8:44. You have your father, the devil, and the lust of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. So we know the devil has a physical counterpart on earth. And what did the Lord tell Cain? You should be the ruler of sin. So there's a man on this earth, as the scriptures tell us, the prince of the power of the air. And Yahushua called that same man the prince of this world, which who was ruling at that time, the Romans. So Esau, Edom, is the descendants of Cain. He is the devil, right?
There you go.
He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth because there is no truth in him. Here's the point. When he speaketh the lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. As he projects. So Esau is pointing the finger, but he's talking about himself the entire time, man.
Right.
Who's the biggest drug dealers are Edomites. And when you watch Wolf of Wall Street,
Snowfall. I'm watching Snowfall. This shit is blowing me away, man.
Yeah.
Right? So the whole crack epidemic was all planted by Edomites, the CIA, and government officials.
Well, before it was crack, it was freebase, and niggas ain't playing around with chemicals and mixing it with the waste few bucks they got to get this portion just right to figure out I can make this cocaine smoky. They not finna waste they can't waste it because they trying to get high. Right. Secondly, all right, there are more heathens that do those hard drugs than niggas. All right, when you watch Wolf of Wall Street, when you watch, it's a show called Black Tuesday, I believe it's called, with Don Cheadle. And it shows that Wall Street was fueled off of cocaine, man. Yep. All right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I worked on the Gold Coast years ago. There was a dude named Victor. I ain't go, say his last name like that, nothing like that. But Victor was a high-ranking Latin king who went to prison, came out, and became a cook. And he worked in the spot with me. And you would think that he was making up the little dishes for all them rich, wealthy Jewish people. They were the main customers in this place. It was a very high-end place. All right. And the whole that was all the front. They were getting all their coke and their weed from Victor. So they were, and so basically he was literally like the king of the Gold Coast, man.
What's that show? 3.5 Men.
So and every time these fake Jews, they always wanted the token. I was the token,
right?
All right. And then when I would go to their parties, man, look, I walked into a room, one of the luxury ass apartments, and I've never seen coke in my life until that day. All right. And I opened the door and walked in, and then literally there was just lines and lines of this shit on the table, and everybody that came in was doing that shit. They was like hitting, and I was like, I don't even know how to do it. I'm like, saying, you got a drink? Right. I ain't never needed nothing more than alcohol, man. Yeah. But this shit was all, and that shit weirded me out, man. I was like, man, I ain't about to do that shit. You got fags walking around this motherfucking shit.
And every nigga knows that Esau Edom is heavy, is more into that.
That's
shit.
what they do.
Yeah, they into that shit. That's what they all.
That's why I got songs like "Party Like a White Boy." Shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Just recently,
White boy
niggas
wasted.
Right, white boy race.
Bill popping recently, just over the last 15 years, got gained popularity with niggas, man. That was always Esau shit.
Hang with their white friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They put them on the
Yeah.
try this, try
I
this.
Charlie Sheen. Man, I seen that shit in the Marine Corps, man. Edomite dudes would get drunk, throw up, and then drink some more. I'm like, bro, you just threw up all over yourself. You know?
Made more
They
room.
Romans, they had
He would drink until he throw up. And sitting over there and then threw up all over himself, nigga, wake up and drink some more. I'm like, what the fuck?
well, you in Rome, you had the
Nigga, you trying to die?
Yeah.
you had the vomitarium. You had the vomitarium.
Yeah, sure it is. Sure it
And
is.
then what they would do is they'll gorge themselves until they can't eat no more, and then they'll vomit just so they can eat some more. And when you were talking, I was thinking about that one white boy, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Charlie Sheen a nigga, man.
Mr.
Yeah.
A spirit.
Yeah, he a nigga, man.
Yeah. But that nigga was like, I'm banging 7-gram rocks.
Yeah. He a damn just a bugged out ass nigga who wanna be white so bad.
That's what you might.
Exactly.
But yeah, they were down there like
But
that.
you know that's what's his name?
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, and their name is not Sheen. Their name is
Estevez.
Estevez, right? Because Emilio refused to take the Martin Sheen name. He was like, nah. And then Martin Sheen actually said that in the interview. He said that if he had to do it all over again, he would have kept his. He was basically he let you know he was trying to pass for being white because he thought his career would go further. He didn't want them to know that he was Hispanic and all that other stuff.
Right.
Wait,
Yeah, but
another
like
thing.
Elder was saying though.
And look, and they didn't get away from the curses. They got all kind of fucked up.
But yeah, like the elder was saying, 86, 87, 88, I was down there in that downtown area like that, man. Like you said, certain clubs you could go into, be lit up.
Yeah, and then that pill popping shit hit real hard in the early 2000s.
Right.
Yeah, that's when that shit hit hard, man.
But Esau had been on.
Yeah,
But Esau had been
Oh,
on.
yeah,
I heard about Molly.
That movie Painkiller.
On Netflix.
You know that's good. It was Netflix.
I'm gonna peep it, brother.
Yeah, because Esau.
I remember.
Niggas didn't know about Viking. Esau been on Viking back in the
Right,
90s.
until Eminem started rapping about that shit.
They figured that out in the fucking 70s off the ball players first, and this, that, and the other. And then it was like, yo, let me get some of that. Let me get some of what the ball player got. And this, that, and the
Yeah,
other.
man.
Yeah, another thing how you know it's all
And all that
Esau.
shit is funneled through places like this, JP Morgan.
Hey,
They all behind that type of shit.
it's in the medical industry too. Like cocaine, you got something called medical grade cocaine, and what they use it for is
Codeine.
yeah,
It's
codeine.
called codeine.
But they use it for antiseptics too, like the shit that numb your mouth.
Yeah.
Aspartame, what they call it?
Lidocaine.
Lidocaine. They use the part of the numbing agent, and it's really cocaine that numb your mouth. Because when you see the drug movies, what they do, they take the coke and they rub their mouth because it make their mouth numb, and that's how they know how strong it is or not. And when you get the codeine, the
I always wondered
Tylenol,
what they were doing.
they seeing it how good it is, how numb it made their mouth.
So as soon as they touch it, it's like my shit would numb.
He
me.
like, ooh, this is good shit. Because it'll numb them like
Wow,
immediately.
I didn't know that.
The Tylenol 3s,
I'm a peeper, bro.
the Tylenol 3s, man, all of the most of
Tylenol
it.
3's got
It's
poppy
copy
shit.
is opiates. It's opiates. The Oxycontin is an opiate. You know,
Yeah, morphine.
the 3-6 Mafia used to rap about the Oxycontins. Lil White and them used to rap about the Oxycontin. Them pills you get over the counter. This Esau selling to you legally.
That's it.
Then the Ritalin. Ritalin is heroin.
They start mixing this shit in drinks and cooking.
God, it's all heroin.
And that's why they call it lean.
Yeah, you get
Because by the time your ass was leaning by the time.
It's the heroin lean. It's the same lean like from the Xanax to the.
Why would you want to do that, man? You can't bone.
Right.
Niggas get feelings on.
Like you with a bad bitch and y'all both just
Right.
Slumped.
Leaning.
looking at each other and shit.
That's
Yeah.
Marvel had no fun.
Right. Like, damn, if my dick would get hard, I would, you know, but
that's the
I'm
heroin
just
lane.
feeling
That's how
good
you
and fucked up right there. Who wants to live, man? Come
Right.
on, man.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's when you said that I saw a female on TikTok and she was sitting there, had the umbrella open,
That shit weird.
it was raining, and she was leaning over things, had fell asleep, standing up, leaned over. Oh boy walked up on her and said, and it be okay. He's like
Yeah, I see them downtown.
full of sleep.
They be
Full of
they be
sleep.
sleep right from the
Standing up.
soul when it be like this. Man, you all right?
That shit crazy, man. But go ahead and read what you got, brother. We're going to read this article and get a few scriptures and shut it down.
Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink,
Mm.
that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do. They make a clown of you, and then like it's just like you know, Elder Uriah said how they have those tour buses that go through the hood with them darked out windows, right? You know, and they look at this, look at them.
Mhm.
People actually pay for them hood tours.
Hood charters.
They call them hood safari.
Basically,
Yeah, because basically you're an animal. You know, let's go look at the monkeys. You know,
Concrete jungle.
Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered.
they
The cup-
critical race histories. You know,
Critical race historical facts,
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
No such thing as critical race theory. That's bullshit.
The past tense is
All
already
right,
happened.
it's critical race historical facts. Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yep, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
Kind of, we're part of that. That's prophecy coming to pass. We're shameful spawn upon their glory. So it says in New York, CNN, the U.S. Virgin Islands is seeking $190 million in penalties and disgorgement from J.P. Morgan Chase and requesting that it implement safeguards against human trafficking in its ongoing case, alleging the bank benefited financially from disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operation and failed to report suspicious activity. So how is it saying allegedly? Because did they not get the money? Did they not transfer using money? So how did they not benefit? All right. See that's another thing. The language Esau likes to use language to try disingenuous language that kind of releases him for any responsibility for the things he's done. That's how they taught us history. All right. Like, you know, the Pilgrims came over and they just built shit.
Right.
All right. But it says the government in the Virgin Islands said in a court filing, it also wants J.P. Morgan Chase to implement an independent compliance consult to prevent human trafficking and separate its business from compliance functions. And we still, you know, what about the cocaine shit? All right. It says Esau was Epstein. Well, he was Esau. Epstein was found dead in a jail cell in 2019, which was a distraction. You know, and which is why they launched the pandemic in 2020, because this right here was shameful spewing upon their glory. This was that secret council being brought forth. It said Epstein was found dead in a cell in 2019. It was later ruled a suicide. So this shit coming out was too much to bear on Esau, even the so-called white man, being that half of Hollywood, the Pentagon, and all these actors and government officials were all involved in this shit. All their names was on these lists. All right, so they needed a major distraction. You know what? Hey, we need something to happen. Put some masks on these niggas' face. Tell them they can't go outside. You know, they needed a major distraction, boy. Immediately. All right. Philadelphia, the U.S. authorities seized the cargo vessel in June with nearly 20 tons of cocaine on board. If that meant it 20 tons, it was more than that.
3 times.
All right. 20 tons is a lot of fucking. All right.
Over $1 billion of street value was said.
It says the ship, as it turns out, is owned by a fund run by banking giant J.P. Morgan Chase.
There it is.
All right. Well, we didn't even really need to read no more, man, because you can only, like I said, that means that somebody was sitting down at a table in business rooms with dudes who tote semi-automatic, fully automatic submachine guns and shit. People who be slitting throats and giving Colombian neckties. The ruthless ass motherfuckers. All right.
That's 40,000 pounds of booger sugar.
40,000 pounds of booger sugar.
Kilo,
Right.
kilo is
So
2 pounds.
So the amount of death, rape, robbery, murder, prostitution, and things that are connected to that, and not to mention that J.P. Morgan is also directly connected to slavery. All right, they were insuring slave ships and slaves and all that other bullshit, man. So this is truly shameful spewing upon their glory, man. All right, grab that Isaiah, was it 29:15? What you got, brother?
Hey, so what they supposed to? We supposed to believe now that there's all that shit sitting in a fucking room.
And right, that's it, right. So who's
Who's holding seal?
right? What do they call it? The evidence. Whose evidence is holding 20 tons of cocaine?
Right.
It's an old ass combination. Just went
Because you best believe that shit got spread around to Hollywood and all these.
They destroyed it.
That's definitely, and I can only imagine J.P. Morgan probably got some hidden, facility somewhere. That shit is, because this story, just like the Epstein story, got swept under the rug. Epstein story got covered up and over because they all of a sudden they was like, launch BLM, launch Antifa, put masks on their faces, right. So everybody was so. Right. Meanwhile, all these Edomites who are actually really fucking little kids and little girls that were on Epstein's islands, they put R. Kelly face up.
Oh, man.
So you forgot about that long list of celebrities in Hollywood that was directly connected to this shit, who probably was doing some of this cocaine when they were doing it. Bastards. Right. I'll take
The dude got
couple of
5
those
years
lines.
of prison for all this. It was 8 people charged. One nigga got 5 years, 10 months for this. So you don't get all this cocaine that's on 8 people involved. And how does this man manage to only get 5 years?
So 8 people move 20 tons of cocaine.
Painkillers.
Right, Tory, right.
I'm on it, brother. Go ahead.
This is Sirach 13:3. The rich man have
Right,
done.
man, that's a spirit, huh?
Oh my man.
Let's go ahead.
It says the rich man have done wrong, yet he threateneth withal. The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also. So like you can get caught with all this yay, and it's like, oh fuck you, yeah we did it, slap on the wrist, but let you go 2 miles over a speed limit in the speed zone on the street, you pay taxes. You get smacked with $100 ticket.
Nah, that's if you're lucky. You might get knees in your back and taser.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Right.
I'm not resisting, motherfucker.
Right. Something that they would have hit Jake over the head with life. You know what I'm saying?
They Cody.
They get
You get 3, 4 rocks. I think you get 5 years for each rock or 7 years for each rock.
Some shit they created.
Well,
exactly.
And Biden would play the big role in that.
It used to be like 5 rocks was like equivalent to like maybe.
You got 25 years of 5 rocks.
Yeah.
This nigga
Five
got
little
with
ass-
40.
5 little ass rocks, bro.
But
He get caught with 40,000
pounds. You get a
of that
motherfucker
shit.
that got 5 pounds of Peruvian plate. If they
Right.
was him
These
or not,
niggas had
if they was him
20 tons and only got 5 years.
Peruvian plate. Do you understand how much they can step on that and stretch that out?
$1.
On Google it says cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, 15 grams to 100 grams, felony up to $500,000, fine, and 6 to 30 years.
6 to 30 years. They start putting that class X out there. I'm telling you.
And these
That was
man
the
got
class
5 years.
Class X.
He gonna be straight too. You know whoever he working for, they gonna have money on his books.
They gonna look on it.
He gonna do 6 months.
Look, and he gonna come home. He gonna have a luxury apartment,
Exactly.
a condo, a badass car, and a
Good for
bad
not
bitch.
saying
Or to do cocaine right off his ride.
Exactly.
And your house arrest.
And he gonna be unalive because he know too much. That's coming out.
Yeah. If he
low level. He don't know shit.
He don't know enough to touch anybody, but what they will do.
If that was the case, said they got rid of him in prison.
I guarantee it.
That's like Free Rick Ross. That nigga still free and talking shit. They ain't touching.
Yeah.
When he ain't working, they don't care.
Exactly.
But get that Isaiah 29.
I got it.
And we gonna wrap it up, bro.
Isaiah 29:15. It says, "Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh, and their works are in the dark. And they say, Who seeth us? And who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, He made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, He had no understanding?"
And see, he's exposed now. I mean, Luke 8:17 clearly tells you, brother, that everything that's done in the dark shall come to the light. And so with that, man, we're gonna give all praises, all honor and glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash,
That shit crazy.
Ain't it, Jake?
So what's she for?
That shit.